Should be good to go now.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey, good, Josh. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Dude, likewise. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it and be able to talk about some great new music coming out May 26th through Nuclear Blast. I've gotten the chance to check out this album all this week so far, and every time I listen to it, it just gets better. I'm able to pick up more on everything that's going on. I love the melodies and harmonies that are going on throughout the chaos of all of it. The lyrics are so poignant, and it's just an overall great metal album from start to finish.
Dude, that is great to hear. Thank you so much. And I'm glad it's like getting better every listen. That's cool feedback. It's definitely got layers to it.
Yeah, and that's always my favorite albums that I go back to is when I'm able to pick up on something new when I'm able to listen to it. And there's a new layer of melodies and harmonies I'm able to pick up on, or I'm able to pick up on something lyrically that I didn't pick up on the first time, or it
Yeah,
has that replay value to it, which I really appreciate. And
totally.
I know some bands don't really focus on that. They just want to be able to have a collection of songs to put together and throw out, but this definitely doesn't sound like that. It feels like a full legitimate album.
Awesome. Yeah, man, we definitely poured our hearts into this one and gave it that extra bit of attention that kind of took it to that next level, I think.
Oh, for sure. So thinking about that as well, I mean, obviously it's a great time to be in the band right now. I mean, with the album coming out next month, you guys just got off an amazing US tour with Heathen. I mean, there's so many great things that are currently going on in your world right now. Like, how does it feel to be a part of Arrival of Autumn right now?
Feels good, man. Like we really hit our stride when our last record dropped in 2019. Everything that we'd been building towards for the past, I think it took us 8 years to get to the point where we put out Harbinger. It was, our first label release. It got us on tours with Soulfly and In Flames and Unearth. And we felt like, wow, this is happening. And then it all got stopped and we had to just go home and think about it. So to now be back stateside in the van, new record on the way, it's incredible. It feels like it's a long time coming, but it also feels good that we were able to stick it out, keep the dream alive, and now it's paying off. So it feels incredible. It feels really good.
Oh, it's so great to hear that, and obviously with everything that's happened over the last few years, it's just like I can imagine how much that can derail things. But I'm glad that you guys kept up that momentum. I imagine like working on this new album, and then once everything started coming back together, getting these tour opportunities. Like again, like last month, you guys were on tour with Heathen, like is such a great thrash band, and having you guys open up for that just had to be an incredible night
It
every
was.
time for the show.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Both Craig and David are amazing guys, class acts. The younger guys they had on with them were Canadians, so we had that in common. And they were just the most awesome dudes, hilarious, great hangs all the way around. Uh, Great headliners. Like they treated us really well, made sure we were accommodated, and it was a really, really fun tour.
I'm so glad to hear that. And, obviously being able to tour with a band that obviously wants to take care of you, but you're able to get along with them, you're able to want to see them perform live, just when you can have that touring experience work so well on stage and off stage, it makes everything work so much better.
Definitely does. Yeah. We haven't had a terrible experience yet, but we've heard stories where headliners treat their openers like they're lucky to be there or like they're, a hindrance even. Um, we've been really fortunate to have a lot of really great experiences so far. And, we take everything in stride. So if the day comes where we're supporting a band that treats us poorly, we'll just, we'll roll with it. We'll put on a good show, but we're very fortunate to have had really good experiences so far.
Oh, it's so great to hear that. And of course, when I think about that as well, too, like musically, I mean, you guys pair up so well with Heathen, but like on previous tours, like you also pair up very well with Soulfly. You pair up very well with In Flames. I mean, you guys have like a broad but controlled sound to where you can open for bands that are more thrashy or more metalcore or more anything. Like it's just like you hit so many different things that it just works well. You have a great pairing.
Yeah, thanks very much. A lot of our early influences was 80s thrash, so we're not really like we got elements of that. So yeah, we work well with them, and I mean, we seem to be the band that the metalheads who don't like clean singing, they give us a pass. They're like, they're heavy enough that, they're okay. These guys are all right. So it's it's worked out in our favor, and we have our sound, but we can kind of be a chameleon band as well, where if we have to dress our set, we at this point have enough material that we could do a whole set without any clean choruses and just play our songs that have only screaming. But at the same time, catering to people for that purpose kind of makes me sick too. So we just do what we do.
Exactly. That's the way to
Yeah,
do it. Just be the band that you want to be.
that's right.
And
Exactly.
thinking about that as well too, it feels like there's a huge progression from the previous album onto this one as well too. It's just like the songs feel so much stronger this time around. It feels like everyone is just on their A game here, and it's just I really love the progression that's happened within the band. Just like hitting a little bit of new territory, still knowing what that core sound of the band is all about, and just being a stronger band.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Um, Writing our last record was kind of like boot camp. we'd we'd written a lot of material in the past, but that was our first crack at writing something that we wanted to bring to the world. So it was kind of like boot camp, and I'm proud of that record. But with this one, we were like, we know we can bring that. Now let's turn it up a notch and no holds barred, do what we want to do because we knew that we had the ability to produce at that caliber. So we are so stoked with how this new one came out, and yeah, like we feel it's a great evolution in our sound, and it's yeah, it's heavier in all the right places, and it's also like it takes it back as well in all the right places. So we've got some vibes on it.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. And of course, like the first thing that most people will hear off this album is Scars. I mean, obviously with it being the first track, but also the video as well, too. I really love what you guys did with the video. I love the camera effects that go along with it. It feels like it tells a really cool story with you guys playing to it. It's just so cool.
Awesome. Thanks. It was directed and shot by our drummer. So he's been directing our music videos since Apocalyptic. He did that one as well. And then everything else that we're putting out for this release, he's done. Uh, we have a bunch of friends in the music scene and a bunch of fans of the band that came together for that shoot. And we just wanted it to be about the chaotic energy that you get when you're at a show. So we basically just did that. And yeah, it turned out great.
Oh, for sure. And of course, visually as well too. I imagine like more potential singles and videos to come as well. But the album cover, I really enjoy as well too. And of course, when you have such a great artist being able to put something together for you guys to be able to show off what the album is all about, I'm glad that you guys care so much about the album cover to get someone of that stature to be able to do something for you guys. It's so cool.
Yeah, man, to be able to work with Travis Smith is very exciting. When he gave us the proof, we were like blown away. And then he finalized it and drafted it up in like over a dozen different colorways. And we had to pick which one we felt was the right mood. And that was one of the hardest decisions of our lives. We had like, because they were all so beautiful. I'd love to release variants of those eventually, or at least put them on the internet just so that people can see what it looked like in different colorways. So we went with that dark, deep red, which we feel really represents the record. And I mean, yeah, as like we we've been to record stores and picked out albums at random based off of artwork before. Like, you don't go to record stores as much these days, but we knew, like, we've always known the importance of having that striking visual representation. Typically gets a lot of attention. So we knew the importance of having a great piece of art. We knew we wanted to work with Travis. We've been trying for years, and it finally came together, and we're so happy with it.
So, thinking about that as well too, I mean, of course, that deep dark red, just like it does perfectly match the album. It really matches that aesthetic. Like, what were some of the other choices? Like, what came like in second and third place?
There was one that was like it was like a turquoise. Um, I wonder if I think it would take me a second to pull them up on my phone. They're in the way back. I'd love to show them to you.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, there was a purple that was really really tempting to use. Um, I think those were our runners up, was like the green, blue, and the purple to go like with the really dark feel, but the red is the winner for sure.
Oh, definitely. Like you've said, and I every time I look at it, I feel the same way. It just matches the mood of the album, and it just hits so strikingly that you kind of know what you're getting into it with, but it doesn't give everything away just from looking at it. And
Yeah,
those are the
nice.
best album covers.
Definitely. Yeah. And then I mean, I always like when I'm listening to a record, the artwork kind of is always in the back of your mind. So like we set the tone with that, and then as you're listening to the record, it kind of like haunts you.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things that was picking up on me, especially like when I think of the album cover and I start thinking about the lyrics. Like when I hear the album more and more, it's just like I see those visuals popping up in my head, just like matching the lyrics that you have. A part of that, and just everything just feels so striking when it comes to the album. You can hear that fire and intensity that's going along with it, and it's just great to be able to purge those feelings out on an album like this because it's definitely warranted, especially with everything that's been going on in the world. You want to be able to get those aggressive feelings out.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, we hit all of us in the band hit a low point in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. We recorded the record in 2021 in August. The majority of it was done in August. And like right in the shit of it all. So yeah, feelings were hot, and the uh the energy we were able to capture was just fantastic. So, and then we in 2022 we kind of kept getting roadblocked, tours kept getting canceled, but the timing is finally right to get it out there.
So thinking about that, like how is the morale of the band right now? I mean, obviously with all great things happening right now, like what was that turning point for you where things started to feel like it was going in the right direction again?
It wasn't really until Scars dropped, because everything was lined up, but until stuff is happening, like these last few years have taught us, until stuff is happening, anything can happen. So it was really the day that Scars dropped. I was like, all right, we're doing this. And then that first day of tour with Heathen was like, we are a band again. We're doing it. So that felt great. And then now we're home from that tour. We got some stuff coming up. Uh, month and a half till the record drops. It's all feeling really good. Yeah. Still, there's still things that we want to achieve that we're still fighting to make happen, but morale overall is pretty fantastic right now.
I'm glad to hear that. And, again, it's just like all the trials and tribulations of being in a band, it's just like it can really tear you down. But once you start to feel better about things, once you know that everything's going in the right direction, you see Nuclear Blast being able to promote this album. I've seen a lot of great promotion from them so far. And of course, being
Yeah,
able to tour with Heathen and, of course, with the album already partially recorded, almost coming up on years ago now. And I imagine new materials already coming up, and it's an odd thing because feeling fantastic and matching the mood. It's gonna be weird seeing you guys do a pop album next time around to match the
yeah.
mood that you guys are doing right now.
Dude, oh man, that's like I had a kid last year, and my our guitar player Brendan was bugging me. He was like, "Dude, what are you gonna write songs about now?" He's like, "Taking my kid to the pool." Like it's gonna be oh man. No, there's always I like to point out stuff that pisses me off, and a lot of that is like just a lot of bullshit that happens constantly in the world. So there's never a shortage of things to get fired up about, to write about.
Oh, definitely. And you can even see it just through Scars in and of itself, because I really love the message of that, of just wanting to be who you are and just showcasing the human that you are. And I
Yeah,
that's such an important thing to do. And that can get lost in the facades of the world. I mean, whether you're trying to appease people on social media or you're trying to look strong in other aspects, but it's just like we all got our things behind us that can make us look weak, but that's also what can make us strong at the same time. It makes us stand out.
yeah, exactly, man. That's spot on. And even like as the guy who wrote the lyrics to that song, I still find myself struggling to be real with everyone all the time. It's tough to be vulnerable all the time, and um, but it's worth it. That's how you build relationships that last. That's how you um, become your best self, I think.
Oh, definitely. So thinking about that as well too, like when you are in writing mode and like how is that for I imagine subject matter you have ideas of what you want to be able to write about, but do you wait until you hear the riffs and the songs are starting to form, or do you already have ideas of how you want the lyrics to go? How does that go for you?
Uh, typically I'll get the lyrics done after I've heard the demo, but I've always got ideas that I'm building on that I can bring to that demo. So I've got in my notes, song idea this or that, and then I'll, keep those handy. And then when it's time to write, I'll sit with the demo. I'll feel um how I want to approach it, and then I'll put that idea on paper.
And like I imagine that working with the demos, like you start to really form how you want to be able to do everything. But like on this album in particular, was there like any major vocal or lyrical changes that you had to do once you started forming more of the songs, or did it come together pretty straightforward?
For the most part, pretty straightforward. Our producer Mark Lewis did push me at times to be like, "Hey man, come up with two more ideas for that and bring those to me," and then we'd pick the best one, like stuff like that. Or we'd just spitball it on the spot and be like, "Let's try that," and then if it's better, we'd use that. Um, there's the whole album was demoed before we brought Mark in, and honestly, that whole demo version of the record is quite different from the final product. Um, but lyrically and the ideas all stuck, which was nice.
Oh yeah, I gotta imagine on your end that had to feel pretty good.
And there was another demo I was stuck on right up until the day before we recorded it. I just didn't have the right inspiration, and then something happened, and I was like, "All right, I'm ready. Let's write this song." And then brought it to Mark. He's like, "Dude, that's sick," and we got it done like the next day. So it might have been the same day even. It was just one of those. Sometimes that's all it takes is if you're in the right mood with the right inspiration, you can just knock it out.
Oh, for sure. And you mentioned like obviously with the changes that you and Mark were able to hash out and make work on this album. And you also mentioned that the demos had some major changes from the final product. Like, is there any other particular examples of that? Like, I gotta imagine like maybe like a guitar tone or a drum fill or something like that.
Like Scars had a whole midsection that we took out. We felt it was just kind of unnecessary filler, stuff like that. Like some arrangements got swapped, like this part got moved to the end of the song, or stuff like that. But um, like there's a common predicament that bands get called demoitis, where you become attached to the demo version of the song, and when it's time to create your record, you have a hard time adjusting that demo, or playing ball with the producer when he wants to make changes. um Luckily we didn't have too much of that. We were able to take Mark's advice, as well as just make the right call on when stuff needed to be removed, when stuff needed to be changed. It's just, you never know until you're in the room tracking it. You're like, let's try something else. So it's just, you never know until you're in the room doing it.
And it's great to have a producer like that who wants to be so hands-on to be able to push you guys to be able to be the strongest band that you can, to write the best material that you can, rather than just sitting behind the board and just letting you record and then be on his way. Like it sounds like he was actually pushing for you guys to be the best that you can be.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah. He was awesome to have on this project. He's a sick dude, and like I would I'd pick him up every morning. We'd hit the gym, and then we'd go do vocals, and we had a blast. It was awesome. Yeah, Mark's sick. He brought a lot of his energy to this record, and yeah, love that guy.
And that's another thing I do love about this album. I mean, whether it was from Mark, whether it was from you guys, like it feels like everything on this album was meant to be there. And if you did have to cut anything out, like it just made the strongs or songs feel stronger, because it just like it felt like these songs were meant to be recorded this way, to be played this way, and played live this way. Like everything on this album matters and is meant to be this way.
Yeah, 100%. We didn't want any filler. We didn't want any unnecessary uh tracks. Like we we definitely, that was kind of the benefit of having that extra time at home to work on the record, was we were able to really polish it off a bit, and we're really happy with that, like with how that turned out.
Yeah, and again, just like from being able to digest this album as much as I have this week in preparation for this, and just enjoying the album as well too. Like I love everything that's going on, from the production, the songwriting, the vocal ability, everything about it. And when I imagine that more tour opportunities are going to be coming on the horizon, if not already in the works, and it's going to be great to be able to potentially get to see you guys live and hear these songs in that live setting, because as good as it sounds on record, it sounds like these are going to be even better in that live setting.
Yeah, we played Scars on the Heathen tour, and we closed the set with it every night, and it was always the best reaction of the night. We love playing that song live, and yeah, we're gonna have a blast playing this one live. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, again, just like going back to the beginning and what I was talking about, it's just like things sounds like it's going so good and going in the right direction with the band. I mean, you got Nuclear Blast, which is such a great label being able to promote you guys. The album coming out next month. Awesome tour with Heathen, and just so many great things that are happening right now and about to happen. Like, is there anything lined up coming up after the release of the album?
Nothing that's been announced yet.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so there is
uh,
stuff in the works.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see what that's going to be. I mean, it's just like if things are going this good, I just imagine it just keep getting better and better from here on out.
Yeah, man, that's what it's looking like. Yeah, yeah. Very
Uh,
excited.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's been great to be able to talk to you about all of this. And of course, May 26th is when the album comes out through Nuclear Blast. It's got my stamp of approval. Every song on this album just rules. And whether you like a thrashy, more metalcore, death metal, a little bit of prog in there, it's just like it's so many styles that I love that form together to be so cohesive, and just the great lyrics that are so relatable to people. It's just like it's got that anger, but it's so relatable at the same time. It's great to be able to purge those feelings out. And I hope to be able to get the chance to see you guys live, and be able to experience these songs, and the older songs as well too. Of course, I imagine are still going to be a part of the set list, and just seeing what's going to become of you guys in the future. Because if this is where you are right now, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be doing in the future.
Awesome, man. That means so much. Yeah, dude. To have the lyrics come across as relatable is definitely what I was hoping to achieve. I really bared it all on this one. So, dude, that means a lot. And yeah, we are so excited to take it on the road. And we'll see you when we play your town, man.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, I thank you very much for taking the time to do this. It was great to be able to get your inputs and be able to promote this album. I can't wait to show this off. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
Uh, no, I think we covered it all. We got the Scars video out now. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Follow us on social media and keep an eye out for tour dates. And yeah, the new record's coming out May 26th.